Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Tonya at Nurses Speak. Okay, I'm back for another quick video. As you can see, I'm outside taking a walk, and it's freezing cold, but the sun is shining on me, and so I am just connecting with the sun. My skin is quite dry. I put all kind of oil and moisturizer on it, but we'll see how things work out. Anyway, I'm not too concerned with that because it is what it is. And so I just wanted to bring up a couple of things. I've been encountering healthcare workers in acute care hospital these days. And one thing that I'm noticing, there are those that are committed to the work to serve humanity, and there are those that are there just for a check. And to some degree, a social gathering. And I say that because, I've been in and out the hospital, due to a family member, a close family member, having taken ill. And so I've been interacting with the doctors, nurses, therapists, things of that nature. And for the most part, it hasn't been too bad. But I have to say, as a healthcare professional myself, looking at the situation a little more critically, I have to say that I'm not impressed. I appreciate what those people do that kind of go above and beyond, with their ability to communicate and to listen, which is a vital skill, okay, if you're working in the healthcare industry. And also to just look at things from different perspectives that goes beyond, the objective clinical data, right? And so I feel like that's been a decent experience. But I think what has me a little on edge is, some of the conduct that I've seen from some of the nurses, and just some of their behavior, some of their responses kind of strikes me as lacking. And I feel like it's lacking on the part of education, and it's also lacking on the part of orientation and training. And I'll say that because a lot of what nurses do, it's not innate for them to come knowing, but they have to be taught what to do, what to look for, what type of responses are appropriate or inappropriate that demonstrate their knowledge about what they're doing with regard to patient care and care planning. So I give an example, and this will just be one for the sake of keeping this video brief, but I may continue with this discussion to add other elements to it. The doctors came as a team, right? And this was the geriatric team, came to see the patient, who is my relative, and I happened to be there, so we were all interacting at the bedside. And the nurse who was assigned came in, saw the group at the patient's bedside, looked, and identified herself as the nurse. Well, actually, I asked her. I said, "Oh, are you the nurse assigned?" And she responded, yes, she was, and proceeded to walk away and say that she would come back. And I said, wait a minute, no. I said, the doctors are here. We're discussing the care planning. You should stay. This is your patient, correct? And she's like, yeah, but for some reason she seemed baffled and confused as to why I would invite her to remain there to listen to what was being said, to what questions were being asked, to what responses were being given, and to what the plan would be. To me, I was quite baffled at why she was so quick and willing to turn and walk away and seemed to have no concern to be a part of that conversation. So I remember, and I'm going back several decades now into my own nursing education and training, that if something is going on with your patient, you should be the first one there. You should be getting the information firsthand, not second or third hand, or not going back to wait for the orders from the physicians. You should be right there in the middle of the mix, ready to execute whatever interventions are decided upon the minute those orders hit the chart. So you already know what you need to do when you walk away. Particularly in the event that something is time sensitive, not something that you can wait until the next shift or the next day. So I would just leave that as the one example. And there are other things as it relates to basic nursing things, skincare and what needs an order, what doesn't need an order. Because mind you, I haven't been at the bedside in quite a while. So there might be something, I admit, there might be some things that I don't know necessarily in 2025, what requires an order versus what didn't. In the days when I was a staff nurse. So I'm willing to learn. I don't want to assume anything, because I recall having left the acute care environment for many years and returned back, I would say like in about maybe 2015, thereabout, just, in an administrative role, but basically it was in an acute care facility. And one of the things that I discovered that was foreign to me was that this particular facility, which was in fact a teaching hospital, required 2 nurses to actually look at and sign off on an insulin injection. And I was like, huh? What? I had never heard of such a thing. But I was made to be aware that it was their policy, in fact. And I'm assuming this is due to having been significant, incidences of medication errors, perhaps some impact to patients, some negative outcomes as it related to insulin administration. So they developed that policy, similar to what would be the policy for a controlled substance, to have 2 nurses, authenticate the dose, order the dose, all the rights, right patient, right time, et cetera, et cetera. And I was like, wow, really? 2 nurses to give insulin? Ooh, that was a shocker for me. So again, as times change, things change. And that was something that I had learned. So now when I see this nurse coming to the bedside, seeing a medical team, identifying herself as the assigned RN and turning and walking away, I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, where you going? And I think I almost said it just like that, you should stay, right? And so, I feel like there's this fragmentation where in some places, and I won't say all, because obviously I haven't been everywhere, but it appeared to me that there's some fragmentation, perhaps in many facilities, where the nurses don't feel or know or understand, whatever it may be, that they are part of a team. And whilst they may have to get orders from the doctors to do certain things, they don't necessarily need orders from the doctor to, help a patient be comfortable, to provide the appropriate skincare, to ensure that the patient eats their meals. Well, not only eat them, gets them, and that the meals that they get are appropriate for them and their conditions, right? Hydration is adequate. Personal hygiene, all those type of things. Particularly if a person is bedbound, those things become even more critical as part of a nursing care plan. So I guess I'm saying all this to say we've come a long way away from the basics. And I get it, a lot of nurses now, they want advanced degrees. They want to be advanced practice nurses. They want to be the NP, the PhD, the, what do you call it? The ND, Chief Nursing Officer, you name it. And that's great. It's wonderful to have those aspirations. I'm fully in support of nurses advancing their education as it relates to improving not only nursing as a whole, but improving the health of the patients that we deal with, improving the healthcare environments that we work in, improving the structural components, right? When we talk about safety in the workplace, when we talk about adequate compensation and benefits, we talk about appropriate reimbursement, nursing research, innovation of new techniques and devices, and, just overall improvement and outcomes, right? I'm for that. I'm very supportive of that, and so I'm not talking about that today. I'm talking about a very basic issue where there are so many nurses who are running, and I understand conditions are difficult, but you can't be in two places at one time. And if you're a staff nurse, that is an opportunity where you are engaging one-to-one with your patient. And as difficult as it may be, sometimes you have to separate what's going on in the facility and with the administration and with your pay and with your benefits, et cetera, and let that person that's assigned to you to be the priority during that time when you're there with them, to ensure that the needs of that person are met to the best of your ability, right? I'm in no way saying endanger yourself, kill yourself, or endanger the patient or do anything inappropriate, right? I'm only saying within reason to pause for a minute and just become present and understand that it's beyond the job when you're taking care of someone. When you have to literally put your hands on someone and provide care, you're literally performing something that is quite sacred. There has to be some degree of trust. There has to be knowledge. There has to be compassion. There has to be a willingness to speak and to listen, right? To respect and to understand that we too can be a patient at any time, whether it's planned or unexpected, right? Our loved ones can be patients at any time, whether planned or unexpected. And what type of care do we want for that person? Do we want the nurse at the bedside who's not involved? Do we want the nurse at the bedside who doesn't know that someone in the bed needs to be turned and positioned and given skin care and mouth care or adequate nutrition and hydration? Do we not want a nurse that's going to ask questions and inquire and support the medical team and not necessarily wait for orders, to have a decision-making capacity in what gets done? Or do we want the nurse that's scrolling through their phone on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, looking at social media every 5 minutes and contemplating how they're just gonna go and get their NP because they don't want to be at the bedside? Because that's an escape route that a lot of nurses are taking these days as well, especially since, you know, a lot of states are changing their regulation around nurse practitioner practice. So we'll see how that works out. And I just have to say, not everybody's cut out for that role either. So I might get some feedback for saying what I'm saying. And quite frankly, I don't even care. You know, because I'm just giving an opinion. And if anybody has a different opinion, that's great. I'm all willing to hear it. And better yet, have a channel, invite me on, and we can have a conversation together, you know? Because I'm all about having conversations about things that matter to me. So, anyway, I just want to share that with you all because I felt it was relevant to say. And, you know, we'll see where it goes. So, be true to yourself. Be true to what you do. And just be honest. You know, if you're doing something that you really, really don't like doing, and it's painful for you to get up every day and go do it, then make up in your mind to do something else. But in the meantime, while you're in that place and in that space of discomfort or disillusionment, don't shortchange the people that are under your care. Continue to do your best. Continue to seek whatever guidance is necessary to help you do your best, whether that be personal, professional, spiritual, okay? Because we all have our team of resources to support us. And if you don't have one, I suggest you start working on getting one. I do mentoring. I'd be happy to mentor anyone who's interested in helping me, allowing me, I should say, to support them. I'll leave that information in the description. And until next time, be well, get your rest, take care of yourself, and listen. Listen within. Bye now.